officials will be looking for execution, body positions, and stability of structures.
From Kaler Fieldhouse on the campus of East Stroudsburg University, this is the PSAC Sports Digital Network. Today, the ESU Acrobatics and Tumbling team holds senior day as it takes on Caldwell. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Nikolai Busko. Thanks for joining us as the Warriors look for their first win of the season, honoring those who will soon graduate. First home meet of the season for the second-year program. Caldwell is on the floor first as we begin the opening heat of 20 of this competition. The voice of Nicole Lopez leading the Cougars through their opening heat. We'll tell you all about this as we go forth. The first events of the meet are called the compulsory events. If you follow figure skating, you know the short program has compulsories involved. These initial events are routines that allow the teams to compete on an even playing field. And these heats have to do with technique and precision because both teams are performing the exact same thing. So as a result, all heats here have a 10-point start value. Compulsory skills act as building blocks for the sport and a foundation on which teams can build when they select optional skills for other events. These skills show synchronization, strength, stability, and variety of body shapes. And safety serves as the primary purpose of compulsory skills because they allow for the safe progression of difficulty. The officials will look for continuity of skills, balance, holds that last for 3 seconds, strong catches, and solid landings. Well, we have a moment. We'll tell you a little bit about both teams here as ESU has an 0-3 record this season. It opened the campaign just a couple of weeks ago as it looks like Nils might have a replay for us in just a moment here of the previous routine by Caldwell. Again, this is the first compulsory heat we have out of 4, acro, pyramid, toss, and tumbling. And see Ariana Ardila in the air for the Cougars in the foreground there, with Cricket Gulix on the left, the head coach for ESU applauding in the background. You're going to find that both teams are going to be very supportive of each other. Caldwell is a first-year program, ESU in their second season. The Warriors have an 0-3 record this year, opening the campaign 2 weeks ago at number 9 Hawaii Pacific, but it lost that meet 260-266 to 224-005. Note that number, 224-005, represented a higher point total the team earned at any point last season. Last week, the Warriors traveled to number 12 Frostburg State for a tri-meet involving St. Leo. They came in third to both teams at 217-535. Frostburg State finished with 260-293, and St. Leo followed up with 233-9. Caldwell early this month held its first ever home meet, losing to Augustana 256-565 to 127-825. Last month, the Cougars held their first ever meet at Stevenson, losing that one 186-66 to 113-35. Again, if you've never watched an A&T meet before, you'll have the opportunity to grab a notepad as we all take notes together. Like Clarissa will explain it all over the next couple of hours. You're going to see a combination of stunts from cheerleading, tumbling from gymnastics, elements of dance, and the strength of powerlifting. Yes, we take all kinds of guys, all kinds of body types, all kinds of skills, physical and mental, as both teams are able to do what they can to give you the best that this sport has to offer. You may recall that ESU previously sponsored men's and women's gymnastics, but this sport requires a much different skill set. And as we move through this competition, the scores are going to be posted for each event, and they accumulate throughout the meet. It's just like what you find at track and field as the process continues downstairs as we are learning the first score of this competition. One more thing, we're not going to be able to give you every score after each individual heat right away. The first chance that we'll have to look at the scoreboard will be after the fourth heat for each team. Remember, the compulsories are acro, pyramid, toss, and tumbling. So you're not going to be able to see what the scoreline reads for each team until after that fourth heat, the tumbling heat. Just a reminder, the National Collegiate Acrobatics and Tumbling Association wants to bring this sport through NCAA emerging sports status on its way to becoming a fully sanctioned NCAA championship sport. For more information on what you're seeing today, please visit its website at the NCATA.org. That's THENCATA.org. We'll have more on this program during halftime. Yes, there's halftime here in Acrobatics and Tumbling, as we're able to catch up in a conference room here at Keeler Fieldhouse before the meet began today. It is senior day, so we wanted to bring a couple of young ladies who are going to graduate at the end of all this. We're very, very glad to have Tiana Brown and Courtney Da Silva with us before the meet began today, as they were able to talk about what the sport means, their journeys through it, as ESU will take the mat now for the first time today as the home team. It's like baseball. The home team always goes second. You'll hear the voice of Haley Drosnock counting everybody through the first of 20 heats. ESU completes its first heat of the afternoon. Up next is the Pyramid here on the PSAC Sports Digital Network. ESU just getting through the first of 20 heats on the day, the first of 4 compulsory heats in the acrobatics and tumbling competition. Again, you just saw acro. Pyramid is next, toss is third, and tumbling will round out that portion of the competition. As you see, on your left up high is Brielle Camille, and on the right for ESU, Jillian Brungard. If it looks the same as Caldwell's routine just did, well, that's by design, because that's what it's supposed to be like. These are all compulsories. As you see again, Camille on the left and Brungard on the right. They're called tops. They don't like to be called flies. That's a different sport. Remember, this is acrobatics and tumbling, not cheerleading, even though we know that there's some elements of various sports that go into acrobatics and tumbling, which is still an emerging sport. Looking for NCAA status. As you see the catch there of Camille by Courtney Da Silva there, right in the center of your screen. ESU had 9 athletes out on the mat in that instance. The counter was Haley Drosnock, you see on the far left, just trying to keep the beat for everybody. So again, ESU, it's a second-year program.
Next up for the compulsory is the
As Caldwell will get ready now for Pyramid. We'll tell you who's out there. Ariana Ardilla, Jill Riggio, Nicole Lopez, McKenna Lanza, Chrissy Jean-Baptiste, Amanda Osamowski, Kaiten Zvining, Isabella Garcia, Rosemary Castaneda, Brittany Solano, Lakai Hill-Dewitt, and Alyssa Gonzalez. Caldwell gets through their second heat of the D. ESU will be back again. It is going to be the Pyramid that's coming up next. You're watching ESU Acrobatics and Tumbling against Caldwell here on the PSAC Sports Digital Network. So ESU gets ready now for their response. The pyramid here, second heat of the day. ESU completes the pyramid, the second heat of the afternoon. Toss is next, followed by tumbling. Caldwell will come up to have their third heat of the afternoon. Welcome back. This is the third heat of the day. Caldwell goes first as the visiting team. This is the pyramid. Or probably the toss. Caldwell off to a spirited start. ESU will respond when we come back. Cricket Gulick and her team getting ready for the third heat of the afternoon for them. Caldwell has just completed the third heat of the day, the toss. ESU's toss is next, followed by tumbling, the fourth heat of the day, the fourth and final heat of the compulsory portion of the competition between ESU and Caldwell. Cricket Gulick, who doubles as well as the cheerleading coach at ESU, took the job for acrobatics and tumbling a little over a year ago, and there were tryouts almost immediately after she took over the program. Caldwell, again, this is their first year as a competitive team, announcing its program at this time 2 years ago, and it announced the hiring of Jenna Adams as head coach just a couple of months later, with the intention of starting competition the following year. Then last year followed without any real competition at all. You may remember that it also took 2 whole years for ESU to begin its acrobatics and tumbling journey. Gulick's hold those tryouts right after the program here. ESU going to work here in their pyramid. There are 2 of them. They have enough to do 2 pyramids. They have a full roster at this point. You see again in the middle, Drozdock keeping the beat. You can see the important thing there is to make sure that when Run Guard and Camille come down, they are caught, and they are caught purposefully. ESU does the job, off to a good start. The fourth heat, the final heat of the compulsory portion of the contest, is next. That's tumbling. We'll be right back.
We will now conclude the compulsory event with the
fourth and final compulsory heat for Caldwell coming up. It is the tumbling portion. Caldwell will send out Ariana Ardila, Jill Riggio, Caitins Vining, Makaihel DeWitt, and Amanda Osamowski. You can see that it's not easy. We're thankful for those who put forth the effort. Acrobatics and tumbling, an emerging sport. ESU will have its tumbling heat to close out the compulsory portion of the competition when we come back. Caldwell has just completed its tumbling portion of the compulsory heats, the final heat for them. Everybody just lining up, just trying to do this in as much synchronicity as possible. Coming to the foreground there, Jill Riggio, right in the bottom of your screen there. With a look of big focus to her left, it's Ariana Ardila. As the two of them go running, trying to match each other step for step, and on the far left, Micaiah Hill-DeWitt. Amanda Osmolowski and Caton Vining also participating in that final heat. Caldwell has 13 members of its team, so it doesn't have enough to fulfill the team portion, the team heat at the end of the meet. So everybody who's out there right now is going to play a big role in the first 19 heats of the competition. East Stroudsburg University Athletics presents 22 Warrior teams in NCAA Division II and the Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference. To keep an eye out for news when it breaks, follow them on Twitter at ESU Warriors. Again, ESU Warriors on Twitter. ESU sends out 7 for the tumbling portion of the compulsory heats. Not short on spirit. ESU off to a good start. When we come back, we should have the scores for the compulsory portion of the competition. This is the PSAC Sports Digital Network. As we continue waiting for the final scores of the first portion of the meet, let's look how ESU finished up on tumbling. They're all in sync there. You see on the far left, Courtney Da Silva. And next to her is Julia Hajdu. Down in the foreground there, Chloe Schaefer is there in the right center of your screen. To her left is Brielle Camille. Also in there, Kayla Reinert, Joanna Viales. And in the far back there, yep, we can see her, Jayla Reinert again. Again, it's all about precision. These are basic compulsory scores. And there are the final scores that I have with me. As ESU has gotten off to a pretty good start. You see up on the video board here at Kaler Fieldhouse, ESU has gotten out to a 35-9-5 to 29-3-5 lead. So ESU is in front by 6.6 points. Caldwell, tumbling was a bit of an issue. It was for ESU as well. But what's going on for ESU? That for all 4 heats, those are all season highs. And I might not be saying much considering that ESU has only had 2 meets this season. And this is the first home meet of the year. But as Cricket Cooldeck said before the meet, we are progressing nicely and things are going well. So ESU is in front by 6.6 points as we await the start of the acro portion of the competition. So what is meant by acro portion? We have optional events that include the elements you've just seen, and these each show the level of difficulty each team wants to reach. Again, think of figure skating. We just seen the short program, and out comes the free skate. However, you're now going to find something you haven't seen in basketball and football, maybe. There's a 45-second clock. Each group only has that much time to complete its routine. Additionally, just like gymnastics, you have a start value. Yet just like gymnastics and diving, scoring is like execution-based scoring. So each heat has a start value. For Caldwell, in this first heat of the acro portion, the 5-element, its start value is 8.8. And that gets a great reaction from the Caldwell bench as Ariana Ardila and Alyssa Gonzalez work well together. ESU gets its turn when we come back. Caldwell's a first-year program that has not been short on energy out of the gate. Yes, ESU is in front by 6.6 points after the first stage of competition, but some great work here. That's in the air, Ariana Ardila for Caldwell. She's being asked to do a lot. Caldwell only has about a dozen or so athletes on the roster, and the strength of Alyssa Gonzalez there. As Nicole Lopez, the voice you hear in the background, just making sure that everything is done with precision and perfect technique, or at least close to it as possible, as the Cougars starting off well in the acro portion of the competition. There's a 5-element you're going to see here from ESU. Then the second heat of the acro is a 6-element sink. And then the third and final heat of the acro competition is a 7-element heat. So there are 3 of those. And by the time that this portion of the competition is done, the teams will have completed 7 out of 20 heats. So in a way, we will be a third of the way done. Something to point out that makes acrobatics and tumbling different from cheerleading. And yes, there are a lot of athletes on both teams with substantial cheerleading backgrounds. The skills are declared in advance. That is something important to note compared to cheerleading. Each team submits what it's going to do along with the associated start values. We point out that when ESU takes the mat here for this heat, their start value will be 9.85. On the season, ESU was 7.5 Hawaii Pacific. And then later, in that tri-meet with Frostburg State and St. Leo, they upped it up to 8.75. So again, Cricket Gulix is always talking about progression. This is a second-year program that you may recall had a slow start out of the gate. COVID was part of it. They could not get it started until last year, and Gulix held tryouts to make sure that everybody on the team was able, well, frankly, was cut out for this. And so far, so good. It's all about growing the sport. Division II gives thousands of students a chance to compete at a high level of scholarship athletics while excelling in the classroom and fully engaging in the broader campus experience. To learn how you can make it yours, visit ncaa.org/D2. Again, ncaa.org/D2.
Number 23, Gianna Mattia.
So ESU will send out Tiana Brown, Gianna Mattia, and Chloe Schaefer along with Courtney Da Silva. Haley Drosnock's voice you'll hear again. They're able to get the job done in plenty of time. ESU looking very focused. The second of 3 acro heats is next with Caldwell taking the mat. So the first of 3 heats for both teams, the acro portion of the competition is over with. ESU just finished heat number 1. Again, their starting value was 9.85. Up in the air. And coming down safely, Chloe Schaefer. Good catch there by Gianna Mattia and Courtney Da Silva. The clock does not start until one of the athletes, the top, is completely off the ground. So the Warriors had 45 seconds for the second that Schaefer's feet left the mat for the final time to complete the routine. As Tiana Brown able to pass, in that case, Schaefer over to Mattia. And the important things to keep in mind for good execution over these meets, over the acro meets. Strong body position of the top, which in this case was Schaefer. Stability from the base, which was pretty much almost everybody else, especially Brown and Mattia. And maintaining balance. So we have a 6-element acro round coming up. Those taking part in the sport come from a variety of backgrounds. These include gymnastics, whether it's artistic, acrobatic, as well as power tumbling and trampoline. They also come from competitive and sideline cheerleading. And you sometimes find divers and pole vaulters as well.
Number 1, Ariana Adrillo. Number 5,
Here comes the 6-element
Number 23, Percy Baptiste.
heat in acro.
Number 3, Peyton S. Spining.
Caldwell's
Number 4,
starting
Rosemary
value is 8.5, by the way.
Number 8, Isabella Garcia.
You probably noticed that when Peyton's Finding didn't get up to the air right away, all Isabella Garcia could do was just smile and just keep going. That's what you got to keep doing for the Cougars. First-year program, again, not short on effort. So far today, ESU is next. ESU to soon get its turn here in the second acro heat, which is the 6-element sink. So here's Caldwell's last routine, and again, you look at the far right there. Peyton's Finding about ready to launch. And sometimes things just don't end well. As I think the monitor, and down she goes. And again, sometimes you see the grin on Isabella Garcia's face. They're still learning. They are still trying. And we're grateful they're here. We're grateful that ESU and other teams across the country have opponents to compete against. And it's not uncommon for the opponents to cheer for each other, support each other over the course of the competition. ESU starting value, by the way, for the second heat will be 9.3. This second heat for Caldwell, their starting value was 8.5. So both teams are definitely pushing the envelope. You give them that. But I think on a lot of levels, ESU is still learning. And when we speak to Tiana Brown and Courtney DeSilva during halftime, they'll talk about that journey, how they've been able to break bread with a lot of the other teams across the country. Adrian, you may recall, was the first competitor to visit this place in this sport last year. Adrian's historically had a pretty good program, so they'll talk about that. As right now, both of these teams out here are still learning, as ESU will send out its 6-element sink team here. Gianna Mattia will do the counting here. You heard Mattia change the beat at the end. ESU did not have to turn the beat around. They looked locked and in sync in the early going. The final heat of the acro portion of the competition is after this break. ESU has just completed its second of 3 acro heats on the day. Over the course of the competition, it is 6 out of 20. So we're approaching 1/3 of the way through here, as the Warriors are able to have some good concentration. The top on the left in this case was Brielle Camille, and on the right, Haley Drozdock, whose voice is getting a bit of a rest here in this heat, as was Gianna Mattia able to do the counting there. Drozdock caught well by Tiana Brown, and according to DeSilva, do the job with Camille. Get a lot of precision. And if you pay attention to the voices, yes, it sounds like it's almost militaristic, but the sport is so dependent on precision as the catches continue in this replay to go well for ESU. There's so much that goes into this. You have to be able to have a good toss and to be able to have the top come down right on her feet.
With a start value of 8.5 for Caldwell.
So, Caldwell.
Number 3.
We head to the 7 elements heat, the last acro heat.
Number 11, McKenna Atlanta.
And the starting value for Caldwell will be 8.45 here. Jill Riggio does a good job of guiding Peyton Fighting through that heat. Caldwell is finished in the acro portion of the competition. ESU gets its final heat when we return. ESU getting ready for its final heat of this acro portion of the competition. It is the 7 element. Caldwell has just finished its job here. NC Fighting being held up well by both Riggio and Lanza, who did some of the counting here in this heat for Caldwell. Cricket Gulix clapping, yes, because everybody's here to support each other. We know it's a growing sport. It's an emerging sport. There's a lot that we are learning on the fly here as we see more and more teams come through here to take on ESU. USA Gymnastics sponsors an acrobatics and tumbling development program that offers young women a chance to train and compete in a format like the collegiate one. So there's always a chance to grow the sport, no matter where you are or what level you're working with.
With a start value of 10-3 Stroudsburg, number 16, Jillian Brungard.
So ESU is shooting for the moon here. This is a loaded baked potato. The starting value is 10. So they're trying to make up a lot of ground here. Jillian Brungard getting help from Jayla Reinert, Jessica Chosafoska, and Kayla Reinert, making sure that she is standing tall and walking even taller. ESU completes the acro portion of the competition. We'll have the scores when we come back here on the PSAC Sports Digital Network. ESU awaiting the tabulation of the final heat of this portion of the competition, and ultimately what the score is after the second stage. But again, you see here, Jillian Brungard, nice and high. And yes, I know she looks like an emotionless statue at the moment, but that is the idea. You're supposed to basically stand still. And a great toss there by Jessica Chosafoska to make sure that she is caught perfectly. Again, just trying to stay straight, trying to make that job easy for Chosafoska. who's had to be greatly strong here. And I'm guessing we have the scores in. We do, and ESU
in the 5 element for Caldwell.
Doing quite well.
For East Stroudsburg, 8.9.
At least comparatively.
In the 6 element for Caldwell, 5.2.
As I'm doing some quick math for you.
East Stroudsburg, 8.5. In the 7 element,
as ESU now officially
for East Stroudsburg,
leading the meet
the total
by
score for the acro event for Caldwell,
14.95 points.
What
I can tell you, based on the data in front of me, is that so far we've got season highs for ESU across the board. We told you that final third heat for acro had a start value of 10. They hit 9.55, so that's very encouraging. To give you some statistical perspective on this, we get ready for pyramid. ESU, for the compulsories, their season high was 29.75. They hit 35.95 in that portion of the competition. For the acro portion, their season high was 25.15. They just hit 26.95. For Caldwell, they were seeking 25.75 in this portion of the competition, only at 18.6. But they are making some progress as a first-year program. And now we have the pyramid portion of the competition. This first heat, first pyramid hit for Caldwell is a start value of 9.7.
Number 12, Nicole Lopez. Number 26, Alyssa Gonzalez. Number 8, Isabella Garcia. And number 16, Brittany Solano.
It features 3 types of pyramids, by the way. For those of you who are familiar with cheerleading, yes, that was an inversion. The first pyramid of this competition requires an inversion. Second round is a pyramid that needs to be synchronized with another group. The third one is an open round, so the teams can choose what pyramids they want to do. ESU will have its inversion when we come back. So we just seen Caldwell's inverted pyramid. ESU will get its chance to show up in just a moment. Now, pyramids are 3 levels, each of which include an entry, a structure, and a dismount. As you see up here at the very, very top, Ariana Ardila, who's looking to come down with a good dismount, waiting for everybody to catch her. Able to get that part of it done. Difficulty comes with a combination of all 3, as well as the position of the top, in that case, Ardila. Officials in the next few heats will look for the stability of the structure, hold by the top for 3 seconds, following entry, and a smooth dismount that ends with either a catch or a landing.
With a start value of 9.6, please welcome to the mat, East Stroudsburg.
So Caldwell had a start value of 9.7 for its inversion pyramid. For ESU, they have a start value of 9.6. So neither team messing around here in this portion of the competition. It looks complicated, but those young ladies look like they are satisfied with the job they did there as ESU completes the first of 3 pyramids heat. The synchronized pyramid round will come to us when we come back here on the PSAC Sports Digital Network. ESU has just completed the inversion pyramid round, the first of 3 pyramid heats in this competition. This is the 3rd segment of the competition. Mattia gets ready to make a good catch on Schaefer, who has her nice held high in the air. And waiting for it to the finish line are Courtney Da Silva and Nicole Carlo. So they're able to do the job again. It's all about stability of the structure, a hold by the top for 3 seconds following entry, and a smooth dismount that ends either a catch or a landing. If you're watching this for the first time, you're probably wondering how we got here. The movement began in 2009 with coaches looking for a new format for competition. And the next year, athletic administrators and coaches created the NCATA. They had the goal of creating a safe and inclusive opportunity for young people to compete as varsity athletes. They also wanted to address interests and abilities of cheerleaders and gymnasts on multiple fronts. A lot of the athletes you see here out on the floor right now have cheerleading and gymnastics backgrounds. Some of them also have dance backgrounds. Some of them powerlifting. Others just play what you would call more traditional sports like soccer and basketball and field hockey and lacrosse, and just wanted to do something different. And this is definitely different. It's an emerging sport. ESU, this is their second season doing it. Caldwell, this is their very first. The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference has its own Twitter account for the latest news on the conference and its members. Please head to twitter.com/PSAC Sports. Again, PSAC Sports on Twitter. Caldwell has officially 13 athletes on its roster, so it will not have a team competition at the end of this, but ESU will have a team heat at the end of this. Caldwell, the second of 3 pyramid heats. Starting value here is 9-3. Ariana Ardilla was the top on the left. Peyton's Finding was the top on the right. Caldwell completes its synchronized pyramid round. ESU gets a response when we come back after this. Caldwell continues plowing through, trying to make progress with every single heat they have. Trying to make progress with every single toss, every single catch. That's the modus operandi right now of a first-year program. Again, the top on the left. Going up is Ardilla. On the right, it is Vining. Some good support on the left by Riggio for Ardilla. Garcia doing the same for Vining.
Please welcome to the mat, East Stroudsburg.
ESU here in the second heat, which is a synchronized pyramid round. Their starting value is 9-7. They are shooting for the moon here. Let's see how many stars they can catch on the way. Camille, the top on the left. Brungard, the top on the right. ESU gets through the synchronized pyramid round. The open pyramid round is next, the last heat before halftime. ESU completes its second pyramid heat. It's the synchronized pyramid round. The open pyramid round is next, and that'll include the first half of the competition. Again, Camille is the top on the left. Good synchronization with Brungard on the right. Da Silva does a good job of holding up Camille. And on the right for ESU, doing a good job making sure that nothing goes wrong is Tiana Brown. Is a lovely toss to the end, and both sides have a couple of good landings. And the Bases have to get down as well. Make it yours by following the official Twitter home of NCAA Division II. Check it out at twitter.com/NCAADII. Again, NCAADII on Twitter. Hashtag NCAAD2. Again, the final heat before halftime. Stick around when this is done, because during halftime we'll have a couple of special guests. We're able to catch up a couple of the graduating seniors who will be honored after the meet is over with. Tiana Brown and Courtney DeSilva were able to spend a few minutes with us before things began this afternoon, just to reflect on what life's been like with this program, their lives, just the journey into the sport here. This third heat for Caldwell, by the way, their start value will be 9.5, so they're not slowing down. They're going after it as much as they can.
To the open heat with a start value of 9.5.
So again, it's an open pyramid, so you don't have a shortage of any, you don't have any limits here. You can do what you want with it. We'll see what Caldwell does here as it tries to end the first half on a high note. In that instance, it was Ariana Ardilla offering support for Caton's Vining as Caldwell pulls a rabbit out of the hat to end their portion of the first half. ESU close out the first half when we return. Caldwell has just finished its open pyramid, the final heat of the first half of competition. The toss and tumbling heats will follow halftime as Caldwell, again, this is an open pyramid, so it's the ultimate wild card. Vining getting good support from Ardilla. Ardilla we've seen as a top for a lot of this competition, and Vining with a nice catch involving Chrissy Jean-Baptiste and others. As a good dismount as well by Ardilla. It takes time to develop everything you need to be competitive, and right now Caldwell enjoying the moment, able to compete finally. This is a first-year program. They only have 13 athletes on the roster, so everybody's got to get out and push this thing. So far, they've been pushing aplenty. ESU with a start value of 9-7 for this open pyramid round to end the first half of today's meet. The strength of Jessica Josefoska. Palpable, she kept Jillian Brungard in the air up there. The scores from this portion of the competition when we come back on the PSAC Sports Digital Network.
And now your scores for the pyramid event.
Well, we have the scores for the pyramid portion of the competition as ESU at the half will have a lead of 16.15 points on Caldwell. ESU for the pyramid does well from perspective for both teams. ESU had a value of 29 for that portion of the competition, 27.75. For Caldwell had a value of 28.5, hit 26.45 for a first-year program on the right of your ledger and a second-year program on the left. Those are signs of progress. Those are encouraging. So again, at the half, ESU has a lead of 90.65 to 74.4. This is the final heat of the half for ESU. This is one that got 9.6 out of 9.7. And some great support there for the top run guard, thanks in large part to some strength from Jessica Jatafoska and Kimberly Young. We're at the half. ESU is in front by over 16 points over Caldwell. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have Tiana Brown and Courtney De Silva. You are watching the PSAC Sports Digital Network.
Our first event of the second half is the toss event. Here you will see 4 athletes toss a teammate into the air.
Welcome back to Taylor Fieldhouse on the PSA Sports Digital Network. I'm Nikolai Busko. Thanks for hanging with us. Acrobatics and Tumbling about to start the second half. We've reached the toss round. Instructors like what you just saw with the pyramids. Like gymnastics, each routine has a start value. And the last 2 rounds are a synchronized toss and an open toss. Toss includes 3 or 4 bases and 1 top. The top executes a twist or a flip or both in the air before being caught. And time is important here. It's like a triple option in football. If the pitch isn't right, then it throws everything off. Caldwell, as the road team, will start things off here. Peyton's Fighting can count on her crew of Cougars to catch her. ESU's response when we come back. ESU about to go to work here in the second half of the competition. Caldwell has just finished its back salto toss round, the first of 3 toss heats in this portion of the competition. Peyton's Fighting about ready to be hurled in the air here. It's a group effort. Everybody able to make the catch there as Caldwell starts the second half well. Again, ESU leads by 16.25 points heading into the second half. ESU will now start things off here with a back salto toss round of their own. Brielle Camille caught nice and tight by her crew as ESU completes the first heat of the second half. Again, the Warriors in front by 16.25 points heading out of the break. ESU completes its first round of tosses. There'll be 2 more coming up, the synchronized toss round and the open toss round. But again, it looks very simplistic in one sense, and we know it's very complicated in the other because the entire crew has to toss Brielle Camille in the air, and they all have to catch her to do so properly.
Next up is the synchronized toss.
Not much bend in the hammock there, so they've done a good job in making sure she's stable. Caldwell. Synchronized toss round coming up here. So they've got 2 groups. It means almost everybody on the roster is involved here. They tossed Ariana Ardilla on the left, Peyton Fighting on the right. Caldwell completes its second of 3 tosses in this portion of the competition. Caldwell continues making progress as a first-year program as it just finished the synchronized toss round. As with any toss, whether it's a single one or a double, the keys to good execution include the height of the top upon execution, the extension of the top off the bases, and again before being caught, and the catch position. And in
Now
the catch,
taking the
the
start
top
value
must
of
maintain a hollow body
9.25,
position, which means
Stroudsburg.
being nearly flat. You see Ardilla and Vining do their best to stay flat as ESU will have its turn now in the synchronized toss round. With enthusiasm, with gusto, that looks solid. ESU, which basically set a lot of season highs in that first half, looks like their focus is unwavering as we get deeper into this competition. Two toss rounds down, one to go. The open toss is next. We just finished the synchronized toss round as ESU. Technique looks improved from last year, their first year. On the left, we have Chloe Schaefer. On the right, Riel Camille. Both bases doing a great job of catching their tops. In the first two heats of this portion of the competition, Caldwell's starting value was 8.8 and 8.55. In this third heat, it'll be 8.55.
With a start value of 8.55, please welcome to the mat.
ESU
Caldwell.
9, 9.25, and 9.25. Caldwell looks to finish strong at this stage of the competition. Again, I know it looks really, really easy, but I assure you it is not. It's not just the top that goes in the air. Everybody's got to be able to catch her in that time. Ardilla was caught without a problem. ESU will finish up the tosses when we come back.
With a start value of 9.25.
ESU getting ready to deliver its final heat of this portion of the competition, the toss. It's an open toss, so they can do what they want with it. Again, a starting value of 9.25 for the Warriors. A little bit of twist action as Chloe Schaefer went into the air as ESU looking to finish strong and build on its lead. They led by 16 and a quarter at halftime. We'll see what the scores are for this portion of the competition when we come back on the PSAC Sports Digital Network.
Caldwell, 8.3. Free Stroudsburg, 8.6.
You see that ESU has elongated its lead. The Warriors are now in front by 18.15 points. As I look on my cheat sheet, they get a couple of season highs. Caldwell does quite well. Caldwell's hitting percentage in this particular portion of the competition was 92.3%, so they're doing well. I would say they're ahead of the curve. ESU, in its portion of the competition, their hitting percentage was 93.8%. As you see the final heat for ESU of this portion of the competition, the toss competition, as high in the air goes Chloe Schaefer, and she is caught well as ESU, again, now in front of Caldwell by 18.15 points. Caldwell will start the tumbling passes first. There are 6 heats. The tumble rounds represent the final individual skill heats of the competition. They all have start values. The first 3 are synchronized routines, and these athletes may compete in both the synchronized and individual. They can only tumble once in each section. Very nicely done to open things up for Caton Vining and Isabella Garcia. The tumbling duo goes well for Caldwell. ESU's response is next. Caldwell had a start value of 7.5 in their first heat. ESU had a starting value of 8.5. As again, you see, they look like they were together. On the bottom was Vining. On the top of your screen was Garcia. For ESU at the bottom of your screen, you find Chloe Schaefer. At the top of your screen, Joanna Viales. It's a duo, and then a trio, and then there's a quad. And then there is an aerial, a sixth element, and an open. So we're going to see a lot of everybody in the next couple of minutes. I mentioned hitting percentages, right? In the acro portion of the competition, ESU hit 92.5% and Caldwell was 72.2%. In the pyramid portion, ESU hit 95.7% and Caldwell was 92.8%. So good marks for Caldwell for a first-year program and the progress that ESU has made with a second-year program, Exhibit A. Both teams are getting after it. Viales and Schaefer about to go to work here. ESU is through the duo. Caldwell comes up with a trio. We come back. So we've got the trio coming up. That simply means that we've got 3 participants for each team. For Caldwell, they'll send out Ariana Ardilla, who we've seen a lot today. Jill Riggio, we've seen her as well, and McKenna Lanza. But first for ESU, a replay of the good work that Johanna Viales and Chloe Schaefer did here. This is not easy. I mean, just doing those backflips, that's hard enough, but doing it with a partner, do-si-do together, that is difficult. That takes a lot of practice and a lot of concentration. Now, the keys to good execution include synchronization of the first 3 heats, continuity of skills and acceleration of the pass, proper body positions, and the body position on the landing. To the officials looking for bent knees, leg separation, and controlled steps on landing. Degree of difficulty, the starting value for Caldwell here in the second heat is 8.5. By contrast, ESU will only have a 7 when they get to their trio heats. One more thing, by the way, in case you've noticed by now, the competition floor is not a spring floor. These women are generating all the power themselves when they tumble. This is going to look nothing like floor exercise in gymnastics.
Up next, the trio pass with a star value of 8.5.
Here come the Cougars, 3 at once.
Ariana Ardilla. Number 7, Jill Riggio. Number 11, McKenna Lanza.
Oh, they're happy. Those ladies are happy. That looked pretty good. ESU's response in their trio is up next. ESU getting ready for its trio. The second of 6 heats in this portion of the competition. ESU setting out Jillian Brungard, Kristen Stanek, and Mindy Stellamont. Starting value is only 7. They're just trying to keep it going. Again, this is the final regular, they call it regular portion of the competition. There'll be a team event after all of the tumble rounds are done. Caldwell does not have enough athletes on the roster to participate in that portion of the competition. ESU will have the opportunity to end with a team event. Goes without saying that a new sport can be a game changer. Acrobatics and tumbling as a sport creates new opportunities for young women to compete as a varsity student athlete. And each program can create up to 45 new opportunities for ladies to pair together their academic and athletic interests. And research does show that participation in athletics for women, particularly in college, leads to greater success in personal and professional life. I think you got from the halftime segment that Tiana Brown and Courtney De Silva are definitely very fortunate and very grateful for the opportunity to compete. Remember that before she gave up A&T, gave it up for A&T, Brown was a cheerleader.
With a star value of 7.0.
Caldwell had it together for those 2 seconds as they completed their trio. And they knew they had hit it. ESU looking to respond. That time they had the choir singing. ESU completes the second of 6 tumbling heats. The quads are next here on the PSAC Sports Digital Network. ESU has just finished its trio. The quads are coming up next for Caldwell. And here's the latest look at what Brungard, Stanek, and Stellamont did. Stanek on the left, Stellamont in the middle, Brungard on the right. Caldwell, for their tumbling quad, will send out the Kai-Hill duet. Amanda Osmolowski and Chrissy Jean-Baptiste as well. And it would appear that that's all they send out. There is no fourth, so they're making do with 3. We point out that of the 13 athletes on the roster for Caldwell, 10 are in their first year at Caldwell. First year as student athletes, so there's a lot of room to grow, and they're growing right before our eyes. ESU with its quad next. ESU getting ready for its tumbling quad. Caldwell may do with 3 here. Again, they seem to be flying in good synchronization. They're on the same page. That always bodes well for ESU. Let's attack it. Jayla Reiner, Kayla Reiner, and Julia Hedgedu.
Stroudsburg, number 7, Alyssa Tackett. Number 31, Jayla Reiner. Number 35, Kayla Reiner. And number 32, Julia Hedgedu.
Their starting value is 7-5. Let's see what they do here. They might not have landed in the same place, but they appeared to land all 4 of them at the same time. That's good news. That's progress. ESU gets us halfway through the end of the tumbling portion of this competition. The aerial, solo aerials are next. So we're halfway through the tumbling passes. 3 heats down, 3 to go. Here's the ESU quad involving Tackett's, the Reinerts, and H2. Tackett's at the bottom of your screen, the Reinerts in the middle, and H2 over on the left. So we've now reached the aerial portion of this. And all by herself in the far corner is Ariana Ardilla for Caldwell. One-woman show here. Oh, you know that she really did well there. She had a starting value of 875, and I have reason to believe that she's going to get most, if not all of it. Ariana Ardilla does her job well. ESU will send Chloe Schaefer up in response when we come back. We just got to see the goodness that was Ariana Ardilla. Chloe Schaefer is coming up next for ESU. Each with start values of 875, so they're definitely getting after it. And here comes Ardilla right into your living room, perhaps into the kitchen for dinner. Good body control. The biggest hug we've seen all day for Jenna Adams. Well, here comes Schaefer. She almost went all the way towards the Caldwell bench. Lots of power there from Schaefer as ESU completes the fourth of 6 heats in the tumbling portion of the competition. Jill Rich is about to take off from the other runway for the 6-element tumble pass for Caldwell. But first, here's what Chloe Schaefer just did for ESU.
Next is the 6
He's going and going and going like the Energizer Bunny.
Number 7, Jill Riggio.
Here comes Riggio. Start value of 845. Buckle up. Like Montana to Clark in the back of the end zone. She hit it. Looks pretty good. Coming up next for ESU, Alyssa Tackett. It's like she's standing at the corner waiting for a bus, Alyssa Tackett. But first, what Jill Riggio just did for Caldwell. Just kept going and going to the very, very back of the mat.
Number 7, Alyssa Tackett.
Tackett has a start value of 745 for ESU. Almost a perfect landing. If she's able to stick it, that entire bench explodes like a volcano. The open tumbling pass is next for Caldwell. Call up McKenna Lance when we call back. McKenna Lanza getting ready. She'll be Caldwell's final participant today. They're not going to do a team event. Here's Alyssa Tackett working hard for ESU. Just going and going, and again, if she nails this landing, you can see the Caldwell team clapping in the background again. Both teams just happy to compete here. It's an emerging sport where you're lucky to find competition on a very regular basis. As Caldwell just trying to build something again. Of the 13 participants on the team, only 10, actually 10 are freshmen. McKenna Lanza will finish things off here for Caldwell starting at 8-5. A good twist there at the end as the Cougars looking to finish strong. ESU, when we come back, we'll have Johanna Viales to take the final tumble.
Number 12, Johanna Viales.
Getting ready to go is Johanna Viales for ESU. Start value of 8-5, the final tumble, the open tumble of this competition. Looks like she got a good landing. Tiana Brown all smiles on the sideline as ESU closes out this portion of the competition. The scores when we come back. We are awaiting the scores for this portion of the competition, the tumbling competition. Again, Caldwell will not participate in the team event at the end here. Here's the previous play. Johanna Viales, the open tumble. Good landing. Didn't have anything incredibly obviously wrong as ESU seeking to finish strong. Again, the team event, for those who watch competitive cheerleading a lot, it's probably going to look the most like that at the very end. It brings together everything you've seen so far and produces one creative routine set to a combination of music selections. That's going to be a lot of fun when ESU takes the floor in just a moment for the final time this evening. The scores are going to come up in just a moment, as this appears to be a strength of Caldwell. They have actually won this portion of the competition. So the Cougars, despite only having 13 athletes on the roster, 10 of them in their first year as student athletes, they are going to finish strong here. And they'll be very happy with winning this portion of the competition. So Caldwell will finish with a score of 142.7. ESU is now up to 160.325. If I whip out my calculator real quick, just to give an idea of what I'm talking about here. The hit percentage on the day for Caldwell
8.25, Stroudsburg 7.05,
is 84.6. For a first-year program, I think they have reason to feel very good about the day that they've had today. For ESU, over the portion of the day so far, their hit percentage is 92.5%. That is a massive measure of progress over the course of their first year now to the second, as ESU will now take the floor for the final event of the day. It lasts roughly 2 minutes and 45 seconds. The team can use a maximum of 24 athletes here, but has this very long list of requirements. And the execution deductions in the final event are the same you have in previous events. If an athlete fails or does not complete a skill, then even larger deductions will apply here. Also, officials generally watch 1/3 of the mat in this instance, but they will follow all tumbling passes that start in their section of the mat to completion. There's a lot of ground to cover down there, so the teams have to submit diagrams before the meet so they can outline the order of skills and their placement on the mat. And to ensure that these three people down that are judging can see everything, the team must walk through the routines during warm-ups. So they must score all this without the luxury of instant replay or slow motion. ESU's team event. Note to Niels Bjorkquist, our producer. We need an ISO camera on Cricket Gulix when they do this again in a couple of weeks, because she was moving just like all of her athletes were. Enthusiasm aplenty as the Warriors looking to finish their senior day meet strong. We'll have the final scores when we come back on the PSAC Sports Digital Network.
At this time, we ask that the senior.
Well, it looks like we're going to wait until after senior day to come with the final totals here as the 5 seniors being honored by the program will get their day in the sun right now. A very important day for this entire program, but for the 5 women that are graduating, when this is all over with, this is a crowning moment on many, many levels. Team's had a good day as Cricket Gulix right now is directing traffic on the match just to make sure that everything is done perfectly.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please direct
Here's the
your
voice of
attention
Derek
to the
Skinner.
Senior Day presentation as ESU honors 5 student athletes for their many contributions to the acrobatics and tumbling program. Our first senior has been with the Warriors the last 2 years and is a member of the inaugural season in 2022. She's currently pursuing her bachelor's degree in biology and is expected to graduate this spring with hopes to open a gym and get into personal training. She is also a member of the ESU Best Buddies Club, which works alongside the SILTS program. Her favorite memory was traveling to Hawaii this season. She is thankful to have met her current friends and enjoys being with everyone on the team, learning new skills, and actually competing. Acro taught her to enjoy weightlifting and to use her degree in a different type of way. She has become very interested in powerlifting and cannot wait to lift in competitions. She is going from watching other teams and learn ways to improve in many different areas, including skill level, energy, and forms of leadership. Lastly, she is very thankful for meeting Brielle, who introduced her to Acro, which opened up different types of opportunities. Accompanied today by her dad, Frank, and boyfriend, Malik. Let's hear it for number 9, Tiana Brown. Our next senior was a founding team member back in 2019 and competed in the inaugural season in 2022. She is currently pursuing her bachelor's degree in athletic training with a minor in psychology, has been named to the Dean's List 6 times and an NCATA academic honor roll twice. After graduating this spring, she hopes to officially become certified and licensed in athletic training. She will then work towards her master's degree in biomedical engineering or business administration and eventually go on to get her doctorate in athletic training. Overall goal is to work as an athletic trainer with the NFL or high-level college football team. She is at ESU, she is on the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, a hidden opponent campus captain, and president of the Athletic Training Club. Her favorite memory this year was being able to compete and do all the fun things in Hawaii, and overall the first meet against Quinnipiac. She will miss the unique connection with everybody in the team, and Acro has taught her that she is stronger mentally and physically than she thought. Accompanied today by her mom, Karen, dad, Jamie, and brother, Kyle. Give it up for number 24, Courtney De Silva. Our third senior has been with the Warriors the last 2 years and was a member of the inaugural season in 2022. She is currently pursuing her bachelor's degree in digital media technology, and after graduating this spring, she plans to find a job working in the concert industry after completing her internship. She will also continue to coach her number 1 passion in life, cheerleading. Her favorite memory this year was being able to experience Hawaii with all of her teammates. And overall, during her athletic career, was breaking 200 for the first time last season. She will never forget seeing the excitement in everyone's face. She will miss coming to practice and seeing Owen every day, but Acro has taught her to be more confident in herself and has really allowed her to break out of her shell and be who she is. Most importantly, the sport has allowed her to grow as a leader and be a positive person in many people's lives. Accompanied today by her mom, Amy, dad, Scott, and partner, Jaden. Let's hear it for number 10, Hannah Gold. Our next senior has been with the Warriors the last 2 seasons and was an inaugural member was a member of the inaugural season in 2022. She is currently pursuing her bachelor's degree in public health with a concentration in health services administration. Following her graduation this spring, she plans to continue her education in either a master's in health care management or nursing and become a hospital administrator. She is currently interning at the Health Promotion and Wellness Center here on the campus of East Stroudsburg. Her favorite memory this year was traveling to Ohio with the team. And overall, the favorite memory of her career was hitting 200 for the first time last season and improving our score every meet. She will miss seeing her teammates every single day and hearing cricket try and rap our songs we listen to. Acro taught her to be resilient and you can do anything you work for. It also showed her how to work better as a team and that you are stronger together than individually. She has grown so much during her time with the program, from her teammates through the amazing coaching, who no matter what will always make the best out of a bad situation. She would like to thank Acro for giving her the opportunity to show younger girls that there are opportunities for cheerleaders to be part of an NCAA team. Lastly, she would like to thank cricket for always pushing everyone to do our best and making her feel confident every single day. Accompanied today by her dad, Steven, and brother, Lewis. Give it up for number 23, Gianna Mattia. Our final senior has been with the Warriors the last 2 years and was a member of the inaugural season in 2022. She is currently working towards her bachelor's degree in exercise science, and following her graduation this spring, she will work in patient care setting and gain observation hours before applying for a Pennsylvania school next summer. She is currently an intern at the Pocono Valley Orthopedics Physical Therapy Center, but ultimately she plans to work in a hospital for her gap year and then apply to a physician assistant program. Her favorite memory this year was being able to go to Hawaii and compete with her team. And overall during her career, competing at Friends and Family because it was so nice to have so much support to start off a great season. The thing that she will miss the most about the team is the connection she's made with every single person. She has learned how to be strong and resilient through all the ups and downs. Lastly, she has grown to manage and push through doing competitive sport while also being able to graduate and get a degree. Accompanied today by her dad, John, sister Samantha, brother-in-law Connor, boyfriend Clifton, as well as friends Bree, Gianna, and Jordan. Let's hear it for number 12, Joanna Dialise.
The ESU Acrobatics and Tumbling class of 2023 will get one final group photo. They've accomplished a great deal in a short amount of time, trailblazing what is still an emerging sport, trying to leave this place better than when they found it, leaving the program better than when they started it. Tiana Brown, dead center, the biggest smile you could possibly have.
Let's have one round of applause for our 5 seniors.
And all that's left now is the official final score in all this. ESU will claim victory. The question is by how much? It will go in as ESU's first win of the season, their first win in as many meets at home. They'll have one more after this. And there's the final analysis.
Scores and team totals. For Caldwell, the compulsory 29.35, for East Stroudsburg 35.95, and the Acro for Caldwell 47.95, for East Stroudsburg 62.9, and the Pyramid for Caldwell 74.40, for East Stroudsburg 90.65. And the talls,
a couple of numbers to pass along to you as we take our leave of you for the day.
25.8, and the tumbling for Caldwell 44.4, for East Stroudsburg,
ESU with a total hit percentage of 89.4%. And before the team event, their hit percentage was 92.5%. Significant progress for a team in its second year as a varsity team.
Thank you for
And
attending
now,
today's meet.
ESU is going to come across the mat. They get flowers to everybody for the Cougars. A great gesture, and the Cougars did very well for a team in its first year of this. The Cougars' total hit percentage over the course of the day was 84.6%. And remember, of the 13 Cougars, 10 are freshmen. They're going to be good for a while if they stay together. The teams have come together. One happy A&T family. ESU wins this one officially over Caldwell, 242-335 to 142.7. A day of reflection for the 5 seniors graduating from ESU who were part of the very beginning